Hello and welcome to Sit Downs with City Lifestyle Vegas Edition. I'm Camila Soleil-Ray, and we have here a super special guest, Shanna Kehoe with Carson Wealth. Welcome, Shanna.
Thanks for having me, Camila.
Thank you for being here today.
Yes.
And we're going to enlighten our listeners and viewers with so much about your story and what it means to plan ahead.
So I was born and raised in Las Vegas. Been here my whole life. Honestly, never left. I went to college here. And after I left school, I was, mid-20s, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with an economics degree. No idea what that looked like. I was cocktailing on the Strip, paying my way through school, and just kind of fell into the financial services industry in 2003 and built a career out of really from scratch almost 22 years ago.
Wow.
So that's, a little bit of my work story, but recently divorced, but do have two beautiful children, Van and Aubrey, who will be 15 in November.
Fun
they
times.
They started freshman year yesterday.
Fun times.
Yeah, so it's good. It's really good. Mm-hmm.
And you're in a male-dominated industry.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So how was it in the beginning for you to make your way into this world?
Great question, because I worked in a firm, which was really great. I have nothing but amazing things to say about where I came from and where I grew within this firm, but it was very male-dominated. I worked for my team was two other men, really no other females in the office as advisors. There was always operations and staff. And I started as an operations person within the firm. And then I said, I can do this, so I'm going to go forward on the advisor track. I just knew I wasn't limited to the operations role. And so going into conferences is very intimidating because you are really a young female, first of all, right? And then it's, not to be cliche, but it is a lot of white men in their 50s and 60s, and the attrition is there, right? They're retiring and moving on, and our industry has a very hard time keeping up with the next gen, G2 and G3 coming into this space. It's very difficult to grow a business in the financial services world.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I am a big advocate of how to push more people to come into this, and we can talk about that more if you'd like.
I'd love to. Mm-hmm.
But, it is changing. I still don't think we are where we need to be.
In terms of what?
Men versus women.
Okay.
Within our ecostructure of advisors within Carson, I think we're at about 30% women.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but it's not where it needs to be, and it's such a rewarding career to be able to help people. I got into this industry because I was told, there's a lot of flexibility. You can raise a family. There's really no income limits if you work really hard and you can focus and grow. And it has proven to be that. It's a very fruitful, flexible career if you can, move forward and put your mind to the task and stay focused. It can be an amazing career. And I think for women too, to have that flexibility of I'm going to go get my kids from school. I can work at 8 o'clock at night from home if I want to. And that's really was the career path that I had for the first, 15, 16 years of just grinding it for 10 years. And then I had my kids in 2010. So from 2003 to 2010, it was just the grind of building myself and meeting people within the community.
Building your name.
Building my name, building my confidence.
Yeah.
And you're 26.
Yeah.
College graduate people are like, what do you know
about
you don't know
money?
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
so that takes time, right? And
for sure.
confidence
especially
within.
in a transient community like ours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. It was really hard. I look back and I look to where I'm at today, and I really try to celebrate the wins and the success that I've had. I don't do that often enough, but when you reflect back on the first 15, really the first 18 years of a career in this industry, very rewarding, but very difficult to do.
And when did you go from working in this company to becoming Diamond Wealth? Because that's what you were before, right?
Yeah. I think it's a great story. So I was with my prior firm for 15 years, and I really enjoyed it. I just had not necessarily outgrew that firm. It was just I was changing.
Yeah.
I just And
Life is like that, right? We're
inevitably
ever
wrong fit.
evolving,
Yeah.
we're growing, and sometimes things are not in alignment anymore. They don't make sense, and it's time to leave.
Exactly right.
Right?
Yep. And so I had put in the universe, honestly, I mean, just maybe a little bit of backstory. What really pushed me off the ledge was the Route 91 shooting. And so when that happened here, I had already known that I wanted to make a change. But when you go through something like that, my best friend was shot next to me. She survived. But it's a life-changing moment that says,
For sure.
you realize, is this where I should be? I've been given another opportunity at life.
Yeah.
And so that's when I really said, okay. And I call it post-traumatic growth. Many have post-traumatic stress,
is
right?
Uh-huh.
And I actually heard that term about 2 years after the event, and I said, oh my gosh, that's exactly what had happened to me, because I took that as an opportunity to say, okay, like, thanks for the sign. I need to make a change. And so,
Did you know you were playing small?
oh no.
We never do, right?
No.
Or sometimes we get a hint of that, but we don't want to acknowledge it, right?
Yes.
We don't want to look at that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think there was subtle hints for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wasn't a very spiritual person back then. I was really just grinding it out. I got married fairly young. You know, we had our twins at age 33. I was just really focused on, like, how do I make this all work? And spirituality and being open to the energy in my space was not there. And then when that happened, it kind of was a wake-up call a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I sought out of a change, and I met Stacy, my ex-business partner, and ended up joining her. But I wasn't an owner. I really just became an advisor, and we teamed up within our clients. But I didn't own the firm. I just kind of moved my clients over, which they came with me, which was great. And then we just kind of moved forward. And that's how the transition into Diamond happened in 2018.
Diamond Wealth.
Yep.
And so tell us then what happened after 2018, 19, 20, right?
Fun
Because,
years. Yeah.
fun years.
Yeah.
And that led you to now be the owner, or here in Vegas, of Carson Wealth, which is a national
Yeah.
brand, as I understand, correct?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that, because like we've established, it's a male-dominating world. It's hard to expand a business like that, right? Especially being a woman. So I'm sure other women who are listening and following this podcast are interested in knowing, how did you do it? And what's the story behind it?
And it's so funny. My partner and I, Stacy, we always joke, if we could have written the book, we would have written it the way it happened, which so beautiful.
Wow, yeah.
It's such a beautiful story. And she's a mentor and a really great friend. And to do that with someone that you really respect is just, it makes it even better, right? And so honestly, I was fine. I never thought I would be an owner of a company. I was perfectly happy being an advisor to my clients. And growth and development was something I was very passionate about, of going into the community, meeting people, helping people. And she came to me one day and said, she had some changes in her life, and I would really like to have a 5-year succession plan. And honestly, I did a double take. Said, what? That wasn't. I just joined in 2018. This is in 2020. So we were just settling. We just bought a building, office condo together. We got into real estate business together. We had just kind of, I feel like, got married in a business sense.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, surprise, I want to exit at some point. And I never wanted to be that sole business owner. I like having a team. I like to come into an office with energy, and I didn't want to work from home. And so we have this beautiful space.
It is beautiful. It's a
Thank
kitchen,
you.
yeah?
It's my beautiful home space. And I said, okay, well, what does that ultimately look like? And so I became a 50-50 owner in 2020. And we were going to, it was a 5-year transition period, but she was going to be going down to part-time down to 10 hours a week in 2023. So for 2 years, we really just worked on, hey, you've got your book of business, I have mine. Let me start handing off some clients to you. But she was running the company side of it, which I never had any passion for. I don't want to deal with HR. I didn't want to deal with the payroll and am I paying competitive wages and all of that. That's just wasn't my passion. Yeah, which God bless anyone that likes to do that stuff. I really just lived the client side. And so I was going to be taking over the business side, and we had 3 employees at the time, plus all of her relationships. So, now I'm in charge of business development for the company. So any new business, we have about 300 households that we help between our business owners and individuals and the company, running of the company. And so at the end of 2022, honestly, that's when I really started practicing in my energy and spiritual space. I started listening, and it was very much there as soon as I kind of opened up to that. And I said, we were going to a conference. I said, okay, what do I do to hedge from falling and failing, right? Because I'm one person. I can't do all of these roles within this organization. And yes, I had 3 employees, but none of them like to do business development. They can only do so much in a day, and they're not going to run the company. And so I went to a conference actually here. It was in Vegas. It was our Carson annual conference. And I said, I'm just going to have a lot of conversations with my peers. I think that's where we don't do enough is ask others where their challenges are. What have they done? Experience shares are so huge. We talk about that in our entrepreneur organization, the EO group of, hey, share with us what your challenges, share with me what your challenges and wins are so I can maybe learn from you. And so we went in to this conference together, and I'll never forget it. We're in the parking garage of Cosmopolitan, and it was like, Wonder Twins, unite, right? Let's make this happen. Let's figure out what the next hire is. Because she was very much, she didn't want me to do what she had done in regards to the business. She's like, I want to protect you from, I want you to continue to succeed, not, just pile things on top of your plate, right? And so she was just as open to the conversations as I was. She was still very involved. And needless to say, there was another partner in Iowa that ran a firm similar to ours. And, the best conversations happen at the bar at these conferences. It's not in the breakout sessions. And I said, as a mentor, I asked him, what do I do? Do I hire a CEO? Do I, focus on this? What's the best? What would you recommend? And he said, about 24 hours later, he came back to me and said, hey, you have a great company. We have the same culture. I have a team of people. Even though I'm in Iowa, we've proven that it doesn't matter where things are logistically. What do you think about joining us? I have at the time he had 6 male advisors. He had no women. He's like, I'd love to have a Vegas office, and I'd love to have you join our team. And so I think being open to those conversations is what changed the directory and the trajectory of my career, because I was able. So that was in September. We signed on the dotted line on December 31st.
Wow.
Bought her out 2 years earlier than expected.
Wow.
And I ended up valuing my firm and merging in with a larger firm, which in essence, now you have a larger firm that's growing versus your company. So I think just being open to opportunities that weren't, I was like, it wasn't just what's my next hire. It was like, hey,
how can I expand?
How can I expand, and what does this look like? And so that was January of 2023. And I have to tell you, we've had 25 to 35% growth rate since then.
Wow! Congratulations!
Year after year. Thank you so much. It's been they've taken the whole business running of the company off my plate. I'm still on the leadership team. We run on EOS, which has been amazing. So every Monday, we're talking, and we're all in the boat, right? We're all rowing in the same direction. And it was like bringing 2 teams together was a little challenging, but I think just being open, and I always say I'm a great leader, but I'm a terrible manager. I can show up and I can show people, be a good example, but I don't want to manage people. And so I've been able to offload that, which has freed me to do the growth and what I wanted to focus on.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. And, there's a saying, competition happens at the bottom. Collaboration happens at the top.
I love that.
And you have that mentality, right? So how can we collaborate? How can we grow together?
Yes.
And then it's no secret that you are, growing how you are because of your mindset. And everything in life is mindset, is how we see it. And spirituality. I think those 2 things combined just take us to
very true.
Wherever we never imagined we were going to be.
It's so fun, too.
Yeah.
It's just been great to attract the people that I want in my life. In the last even 6 to 12 months, I've had a big life change. Being open and being also setting great boundaries has been really life-changing for me.
Yeah, and with the growth comes losses, right?
Yes.
We have to let go of things, people, ideas that no longer align, no longer serve us. Might seem a little, strong or harsh,
Yes.
but it's no longer aligned.
I like that. I'm going to steal that because when I say serve me, my mom always looks at me weird. So
They're serving you, yeah.
I'm like, that's not what I meant, Mom.
No, it's
The
alignment.
alignment. And it's been challenging, honestly, because there's some friends and things that I'm no longer really in connection with. And it's not necessarily something that it was on purpose or
No, it's not. It's just
hurtful. It's
natural.
Just where I'm going in my life. It's I really want to be surrounded by the people that are in the same space.
Yeah, and it's like you're here, and then all of a sudden you start expanding, and people just stay here.
Yep.
It's nothing personal. They just stay here, and you keep growing.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
That is what happens.
So going a little more technical now, because I know I follow you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And
I don't do a ton of social media.
No, I know, no, but this is so more technical. Because I know that you have predictions like Q1, the economy was like, oh my God, Trump is in power. And then Q2 was amazing, right? It's like the economy's been booming, and I'm so happy. I went to the LVGA event, and I'm like, oh, yes. And so how is the rest of the year looking? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, so our investment research team is amazing, and they just send out great content. So honestly, we are expecting volatility the remainder of the year. We've had, like you said, April was very scary, I think, for most. A great buying opportunity if you think about it the right way. But then we just kind of came right back out of it. And so one of the things with our clients, I'm very much an accountability coach is what I call myself a lot of times, of just tailoring emotions, right? Because it's very scary when they see a 10% or even 5% drop, because we've gotten used to this up market. We've been in a bull market for a couple years now, and so it feels really bad when we have any volatility, right? But really, a couple things I'll just say to that is staying the course is so important. Even when we will have upcoming volatility, it's inevitable, right?
Isn't that part of life?
Yes,
Hello?
exactly. Everywhere we're in, right?
Impermanence.
Thinking about it sometimes people say, I stopped putting money into my 401k because the market was volatile. And it's the opposite way to think, right? Rear view mirror thinking. It's just keep putting it in. The market's going down. You're buying double the shares, right? And so there's an interesting statistic. If you miss 3 of the key best days of the year, you can wipe out all of your returns. Well, we don't know when those 3 days are, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this right now if I knew that, right?
Yeah.
But just, I think the market it's going to do what it's going to do. But it's making sure that you have a trusted advisor that you can call and bounce questions off of, and a set plan. I think that's definitely key, is finding someone that's a right fit for you. But you can call and really trust, hey, they're giving me advice that's in my best interest versus their best interest. And unfortunately, that's not always the case, in all professions, right? But when it comes to your money, there's some really great advisors out there that I think can change people's lives because they have a plan and they have someone to call other than their ChatGPT friend. Which I love, by the way.
Dante.
I got to name my relationship there.
And I was on Instagram the other day, and a friend's like, oh, I asked Dante. I'm like, no, you cannot ask Dante. Dante is mine. Go find your own, dude.
I love that. I love that.
So if your ChatGPT names itself Dante, it's okay because your ChatGPT named itself Dante.
It's different.
But I know he did not ask anybody for any opinion, so no. So we're going to see volatility.
Yeah.
And just stay the course, like keep doing your reserves and your investments and don't change a lot of the habits.
No, I mean, if anything, think about an opportunity. It is an opportunity, and I don't know if we'll have volatility. That's what we're thinking, right?
Yeah, but predictions are predictions.
Yeah,
like people have been talking about recession since 2016, 2010, or whatever, right? 2016. So for almost 10 years, and we haven't had a recession.
No, and our team does not feel that we are going to have it. Yeah. A lot of investment research people do say that they expect that, which we don't know, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's just important, first off, to not the news can just really
Oh my
be
God.
a negative.
Yeah.
I asked actually ChatGPT at the end of my day, what was the top 3 things I needed to know today?
Oh, that's a great one. I have not used Dante for
Right?
that yet.
He should provide you with
Yes.
that. Because then it's just a lot of noise.
It is.
It's a lot of noise.
That was the consensus yesterday at the event. The economy is booming.
Mm-hmm.
So why are people so scared? Because
Yeah.
they're glued to the screen, be it television, be it phone, iPad, whatever it is. They're glued to the news,
Yep.
to TikTok. Like, are you really getting your economical advice from someone on TikTok? Like, really?
What? I can't tell you how many times people will ask, "Oh, have you heard about this investment? It's on TikTok." Like a Roth IRA? It's just another fancy name for something, It's
Yeah.
just in marketing. But what I do think it's good for, though, is it is putting information out there, right?
Right.
So maybe people that wouldn't ask about a Roth are
Oh, that's
asking,
true.
which is great. But
Yeah.
it is important to maybe, ask a professional, is this what I should be doing?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, people will come in and like, I don't even have an emergency fund, but I have all this stock. Well, maybe we should,
Diversify
go backwards
a little bit,
here.
yeah.
Let's start at the base, the base of the pyramid and
Yeah.
just kind of build. So there's so many great things to do financially to get yourself feeling very secure, have some peace of mind, and very little simple tips, that can be so great. And TikTok or an advisor can give those to you.
So would you have like 3 top tips for our listeners on that regard?
Yeah. So first off, we'll just kind of start at the bottom there. This isn't really high level planning, but I think it's very important. Emergency reserve. We say that all the time. Like, what does that actually mean?
Right.
And so how often does something pop up and you're like, I need new tires on my car, or, whatever the emergency is. And it's important to have at least, and we say like 3 to 6 months of your living expenses in an account. And a lot of times you've got it in your bank account at Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citibank, wherever, and it's really not earning any interest. We've been given a gift the last few years with high yield interest savings accounts online. Ally Bank, Goldman Sachs has one, Capital One, 3-4% interest for no risk, right? Very simple. And you can set targets. Hey, I'm going to get this to this point. Draft it from your regular checking account until you hit that target. And you're like, okay, good, I got that goal hit. Now I can leave that alone.
Yeah.
And adjust it from there. I see that often, and that's just missed opportunity. The second one I would say a lot of times is 401k funding. So a lot of times, and this might get a little more technical, but pre-tax versus post-tax. So, we're putting contributions in. For years, pre-tax was the only option, meaning, okay, I put in $1, I reduce my paycheck, my income that year for $1, and I pay less taxes, right? Well, that dollar is going to be invested and grow over time. So now it'll grow, let's just say $5. My dollar grew into $5 over, so many years. Well, now I'm paying taxes on that distribution of $5, right? Whereas now we have Roth 401k, post-tax contributions, pay the tax on the dollar, and now in the future, the $5 is tax-free. So you just made $4 tax-free. So sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm saving today on that dollar, but
Are you really?
do we think tax rates are going to go up or down?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variables there, but
Right.
a lot of times I do, and not every, it's depending on everyone's situation for sure, but that is something I feel like people just go, oh, they sign up or it's auto enrollment and they never go back in and change it. And they also don't have a beneficiary listed on a lot of their retirement stuff. So I always recommend like logging in, making sure it's invested the right way, and yeah.
Very cool.
What was the 3?
Do you have one? If you don't, it's okay.
Oh, I have a lot. Yeah, well, let's see. I think another one is, this is maybe more a little bit advanced level of just like paying extra on your home mortgage. If we've got these like 2, 3, 4, even 5%'s getting there, but these really low interest rate mortgages, it's very inexpensive money to borrow.
Yeah.
And I can actually earn more in my savings account than I can my mortgage and keep it liquid. I typically don't have people make extra mortgage payments. We can still use it over here. Compound interest is accessible. But it also depends on the person. If someone isn't going to save it, they're going to spend it, then let's pay it towards your mortgage.
Okay.
So everybody's a little bit different, but those are just a couple tips. And, also like high interest credit cards, I've had people say to me, oh, it's only, 15, 20%. And I just want to fall
That's
out of the chair.
lot
That's
of
a
money,
lot
yeah.
of money. But it's been this like conditioned
Yeah.
in people's minds. It's like that's a lot of interest that you're
Yeah,
paying. And so pay the payment before the due date. Try to, get your credit score up. Start getting those 0% offers. Do balance transfers. Just be involved versus like a revolving door of
Pay attention.
Of debit.
Pay attention is what you're saying.
Yep, pay
Very
attention.
good. And how can we contact you? How can our followers, listeners, get in touch with you?
Well, I'm not going to just spew my information. I think that's terrible when people do that. But I am on LinkedIn, Shanna Kehoe at Carson Wealth. That's probably the best way. I don't have any other social media.
And it's carsonwealth.com?
Yes. Carson Wealth, and then basically put in Las Vegas because it'll bring up a lot of locations around town.
And you're in the Southwest,
I am. I'm near the Uncommons.
Very good.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here and enlightening us with your conversation, with your knowledge and your wisdom and your stories. I absolutely adore you.
Thank you.
You have become a friend of mine, and I honor so much our relationship. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Camila. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thanks so much for watching. If there's a topic that you guys would like to learn more about, we can always have our interviewees, our guests come back. So stay tuned and let us know. See you next time.